Okie dokie, gentlemen. Hello and welcome to The Backbone, the podcast where common sense still makes sense. And, gentlemen, it's sick out there and only getting sicker. And we are back. And I have to say that for the last week or so, I've been moving, and I'm finally settled into this new place that I'm at. It's much smaller than the place that I used to have, and a lot more efficient. I'm really into the whole minimalist philosophy of less is more. We went over that Man Memo podcast the last time I was on air, and it's been about a week. But I'm finally settled in now, and I'm just there's nothing that makes you feel liberated and a greater sense of freedom when you just throw out crap you don't need. Things like furniture or even books that just don't apply to you anymore, or just gadgets and toys that you don't need because you've evolved. You're not that person you are anymore that you once were, and made it back. You've made it forward, I should say, to being a different person. I hope I just feel different. I've lost weight. I mean, I just feel like a totally different guy here, and I hope that that comes through on this podcast, because let me tell you, over the last week, I thought I had it hard. Moving sucks, no matter what you do. And like I said, I threw out a lot of stuff. I had help from my kids, who are just wonderful, wonderful people. And, if you have children and they're growing up to be great people, you've done a great job as a parent, because that is the most important thing. It doesn't matter how good looking they are, how tall they are, how fit they are, or, well, it matters how fit they are. They have to be healthy. But if they're good people, if they're people that are going to contribute to society in a positive way, you've done a great job as a parent, especially a father, and especially if you have girls or boys that are just virtuous, have morality, have high moral standing, and are not going on websites showing off their assets, if you know what I mean. Especially if you have daughters. And that leads us into our talking point today. And we have our friend here, Shannon Sharpe, former Denver Bronco, former Baltimore Raven, Hall of Famer, very good player. He after retiring from football, he got into broadcasting. He hosted shows, and Shannon was one of these guys that was always race baiting. He always found race in something. He was always this highfalutin guy. He found, you know, I remember once there was a broadcast where football players on a team, I think it was Seattle Seahawks, black football players, were smashing watermelons. And he was so offended by it, because he said, how can you have black men smashing watermelons? That's offensive. And he was just this holier than thou guy. Well, we now see in the destruction of Shannon Sharpe that he is a whole lot less moral than we thought, or so we think. Shannon Sharpe has had a very spotty history when it comes to being flirtatious, being with women. A lot of people always thought that Shannon Sharpe was maybe a homosexual. Just the way he carries himself. He carries a dog in a little purse. He wears very tight clothes. Just the fashion statements that he makes. But it seems like he's got a propensity to like young girls, and he likes young white women. And white women, they will chase anything that has any sort of status, and they don't care what it is: white, black, Asian, Indian. They don't care. If they think you have money, they think you have status, they will give their bodies to you. And I mean, most women are like this, but white women just seem to be always running after these athletes, or these entertainers, and it is just outrageous. But Shannon Sharpe has had a spotty history. I believe it was at CBS where he first landed, And he just 1 year he just disappeared. He was off of CBS, and the allegations were that he was messing around with I think it was interns or women that were in the background of programming, whether it be uh, makeup girls or whatever it is. But there were some females at CBS who had made formal complaints to the human resources department there, and Shannon left. And Shannon Sharp just seems to be carrying this weight of a not being a good boy. He's been naughty everywhere he goes, and that hurts you when you have a reputation of being flirtatious or being just a freak, as Shannon Sharp seems to be in his private life, allegedly, we should say. Um, Women are just going to latch onto that. People are just going to latch onto that, and they're going to attack you for it. You can make one mistake in your life. If you're famous, or if you're part of a corporation and people know you're of that one mistake you made, it will stick with you, and people will exploit it. And that's what's happening to Shannon Sharp here. He's being exploited by this woman. What's her name? I think her name is Zanuga or something like that. She's on those websites. We all know the names of those websites where women tend to show more than they should. And she met Shannon Sharp at the age of 19 at a gym, and they had a torrid affair for a while. Now, it seems like Sharp may have tried to end this relationship, or she tried to end this relationship, and it just turned into a whole clusterfuck of nonsense. And these women, when they know that they have the court on their side, they have the media on their side, they will try and do all they can to destroy you. Now, Sharp is lawyered up as he must, as all men must, because you already have two strikes against you. And it seems like now that there are some tapes that could be coming out. And Shannon Sharp, who was with Fox, now with ESPN, he's been relieved of his duties there, and because it doesn't matter if Shannon Sharp is innocent. What matters is that this woman is embarrassing the corporation or Disney ESPN. And I'll tell you that corporations have zero loyalty to you once they find out something like this is happening. They will drop you like a bad habit, whether it's true or not. They don't care. They don't want anything like this sticking to them. And Shannon Sharp has been dismissed. Now, they say he's taking a temporary leave after these allegations of rape. Now, this is rape now. It's very serious. It's not just him sleeping around with some girl, or like the Sean Watson nonsense where he was exposing himself. This is an allegation of rape, and there is a $50 million civil suit attached to this. According to the New York Post, for information purposes only, the 56-year-old has repeatedly denied these allegations made by Jane Doe. I think her last name is Zanuga now, and that's something else I want to talk about. Why is she a Jane Doe? How come her name hadn't come out immediately when she made these accusations? Jane Doe, that he sexually assaulted her back in 2024 and 25. According to Sharp, my statement is found here, and this is the truth. The relationship in question was 100% consensual, which is probably true. Sharp wrote a statement on social media last Thursday. According to Sharp, again, Sharp and I quote, "At this juncture, I am electing to step aside temporarily from my ESPN duties. I will be devoting my time to my family and responding and dealing with these false and disruptive allegations set against me. I plan to return to ESPN at the start of the NFL preseason." I don't think that's going to happen. These things just don't go away. And there's already a second person that's come out saying that Sharp did the same thing to her. ESPN released a statement saying that this is a serious situation and we agree with Sharp's decision to step away. Of course, he didn't step away. They told him to leave. And the accuser's attorney, Tony Busby, who is one of these, you know, man destroyer lawyers, released an order of recording this week in which Sharp can be heard telling the woman, "I might choke you in public," which I don't know what that means, but I guess homeboy was into freaky stuff. Sharp can be heard telling the accuser, if you say that word one more time, I'm going to blanking choke the blank out of you when I see you. Now, Sharp has an attorney named Larry J. Davis, and he released text messages where he claims they were sent from the accuser, this Zuniga woman, to Sharp. Davis illustrates the two had a consensual relationship that involved role playing and fantasy, and he said that the accuser charges money for role playing on OF. One alleged text from the accuser, who is more than 30 years the junior of Sharp, in October of 2023 says, "I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me while you're blanking me." Now, role-playing and fantasy could be very, very embarrassing and dangerous for Sharp, especially if he made videos and took pictures. Many years ago, there was a broadcaster named Marv Albert, and he was accused by a woman of abuse, where he bit her and he was just rough with her. And basically, what happened was he broke off the relationship. She got ticked off, and she filed these charges against him. Marv Albert lost his job, and he subsequently wanted to settle out of court. Why did he want to settle out of court? Because there were role playing and fantasy footage of him and this woman, and supposedly he was dressed up like a woman. He was dressed in a nightgown. He wore a toupee. The toupee was off. There were some compromising pictures and videos of him. There may be also some compromising pictures of Shannon Sharp that he does not want released. There may be some, as we say, role playing involved here, where I don't want to speculate, but who knows how freaky this gets. Now, this woman, of course, is not the type of girl you bring home to mom. And in the man memo, we're going to talk about low value women, and this woman is as low value as it gets. These are the type of chicks you do not, I don't care how hot they are, you do not want to get involved with. Because if you have some bedroom fun with them, if you have a little hump action, they will accuse you of rape, and your life is over, because the justice system is not, there is no justice for men. A woman says you raped her, it's up to you to prove that you didn't. And of course, how do you do that? Ask Shannon Sharp. He's probably spending millions upon millions of dollars on a legal defense right now, just to defend himself from these allegations, which could be real, they could be false. But my whole thing is, and I don't know why the relationship broke, but my whole thing is that he probably either was with another woman or found somebody else, and she got ticked off at this. Sharp is a former athlete. He's in the spotlight. He is up for tremendous exploitation here. He has a history of being naughty with people, with women, as we know with CBS, as we know now. And this leads to a person being exploited. He's an athlete. He's in the public eye. He has a lot of money. He probably does have a bit of a freakish side. He probably was dumb enough to allow this woman to videotape stuff, take pictures of him. which he does not, under any circumstances, wants to get out. And I wouldn't be surprised if they come to some sort of settlement where, hey, you know what? I'll give you X amount of dollars. You hand over everything you have, and we'll make this go away. And of course, she's a broad. She's money talks and everything else walks. She's going to take the cash and go. But he probably, due to his own sexual disobedience, is probably being exploited here. Because if you just think about this, rape is a horrible, horrible, violent crime. I worked with domestic violence victims. A lot of times they are terrified to report these cases because they're afraid of the man coming back and killing them, the man coming back and killing their children if there are children involved. A lot of times it's because of embarrassment, but a lot of times, well, most of the women that I work with, it's they don't have the resources to get a lawyer and to report these things. Some of these women, they may have 3 or 4 different baby daddies, so they have a reputation of being open sexually, and they're afraid people won't believe them. But here, in this day and age, if you're a man that makes a lot of money, and you don't have to make a lot of money, you could make 150, 200 grand a year, which is a lot of money. You run the risk of being exploited by some chick who's looking for an easy payday. Whether it's her trying to get you to impregnate her, whether it's her, you know, trying to blackmail you with some compromising pictures, or whether she goes nuclear and says, "Hey, Johnny tried to rape me," or "Johnny did rape me." And how come in this society that we live in today, women have this power? Where did the law, these lawmakers decide that, you know what, it doesn't matter if there's any evidence, it doesn't matter how long ago this happened, it doesn't matter if there's no evidence that these two even know each other. Why do women have this sort of power to be able to destroy men? Because Shannon Sharp forever will be remembered for this. And I don't know if he has children. I'm guessing he does. Um, I'll assume he does. What are they going through? They're probably these they're again, they're going to hear a lot about their dad's sexual exploits. That makes me want to vomit if I ever thought about my parents having sex. But this is out in the open. It's out on every television show. It's out on every radio sports show. I mean, I'm sure that people are doing podcasts about this, especially if they're related to sports. This is the big story now. And it's all because women have this power and this ability to go this far. They can go to a judge, they can go to a lawyer and say, John Doe raped me and I want $50 million. And there will be a lawyer like this guy Busby who will say, "Oh yeah, I can get it for you. You have text messages? Yeah. You have pictures? Oh yeah. You have video? Oh yeah." And we'll get this money for you because guess what? Tony's making what, 10% of that, 15%. So he's up for another $5 to $10 million payday. He doesn't care about this girl. He doesn't care if she's lying or not. He just wants that money. He's a lawyer. And that's why women have this power, because women cry, women lie, women believe their own lies. They're pathological, they're sociopaths. And women have, as I've said before, women have hell within them. They have no conscience. This woman, Zanuga, does not care if Shannon Sharp's family, his children, or whoever, if he's married, or if he's married, it's even worse. But if he has children, she doesn't care about them and what they're going through. She cares about getting that money in her pocket. Money turns people into monsters, and women are already emotional monsters. This woman is demonic. She doesn't care about anybody but herself. Look at what she's exposing herself to on the OF site where I mean, I saw the pictures of her where she's practically showing her ass and boobs to strangers for money. So she has no morality, she has no virtue. She's as low as it comes. And Shannon Sharpe, thought with the little head over the big head, and he fell into the trap. He fell into the ass trap. And the other trap that he fell into was the snowflake trap. When these black dudes see a hot white girl, they are putty. White women are the kryptonite for any black man. There's no, I don't know any black guy who would say no. I wouldn't have sex with her or any other hot white women. They love it. And white women know this. They know that they control minority men a lot easier than they can control most high-powered white men. Because most high-powered white men have, I mean, they're weak too, but they spin plates a lot more. And these black guys just continue to fall into the snowflake trap and the low value trap. And they love the strippers and they love the OFs and they love the porn stars and they love these girls, these call girls, and they love the whiter, the blonder, the blue eyes, the brownish hair, the hazel eyes. The more these women have that, the more these guys just they can't resist. It is kryptonite for the black man. Now, not to say that it wouldn't be kryptonite for some, white guy either. You get a guy like Tom Brady or something like that. This could happen to him too. But you notice these things don't happen to guys like Leonardo DiCaprio, who is the greatest swordsman probably, in media history. I mean, he bangs girls who are 19, 20 years old, and they love him. And he just goes from one, the minute they hit a certain age, he dumps him and he goes to another young one. And he's my age, or maybe a year younger. But we haven't heard anything like this, and knock on wood for Leo. I think he goes after more career-oriented women like models and actresses. This Shannon Sharpe, of course, he's bottom feeding with the OF models, because these girls are not into. They're not real models. They're basically low level, low tier porn stars. That's what they are. But let's just say, just for the sake of argument, women have this power, right? And they can exploit this power, and they can wield it as much as they want. What happens if she's lying? What happens if it's found out she's lying? I mean, rape is a serious, serious, serious offense. Shouldn't there be some sort of legal accountability that she should be responsible for? Now, of course, women are never responsible for anything, right? Women have no accountability or no responsibility for anything. We know that. But shouldn't the law say, hey, if you lie about getting raped, which is one of the most heinous crimes that can happen, you know what? You're going to jail. If it's found that you're lying, you're going to jail, because this would deter women from lying about being raped and assaulted like this. Because there are women out there who are getting assaulted and who do get raped, who are terrified of coming out because they don't think anyone will believe them. And when you have women like this who come out, and I'm not saying she's lying. I'm again, allegedly. Let's just play devil's advocate. Let's say she's in this for the money, which she is. I mean, why would she put a price tag on her on such a heinous abuse? 50 million bucks. Let's say she's in this for the money and she just said, hey, he raped me, give me $50 million. You know what? This should be investigated against her as well. How many times has she done this? How many lovers has she had? Look at her history. She's an OF girl. I don't know if she does porn on there. I'm not on that site. I would never consider wasting my hard-earned money on garbage like that. But this is not a girl who came out of a monastery or who was thinking about being a nun. This is a girl who is using her body for her advantage, and she found the honeypot. She found the disco stick, the $50 million disco stick. So what do we do? What can men do to protect themselves from these attacks? It's easier said than done, but if you meet a girl who is on one of these websites, who's always dressed provocatively, who is showing you the red flags of being promiscuous, as much as I understand it's hard to walk away when that ass is in your face, but you almost have to. You almost have to walk away now because let me tell you, if Shannon Sharp can get destroyed and he's got millions of dollars to protect himself, what could happen to you? Shannon Sharp's not in jail because he's Shannon Sharp. But if some chick that you meet at a nightclub last night or tonight accuses you of raping her, the police aren't going to say, "Hey, man, there's an accusation about going against you. Get your lawyer." No, you're going away in cuffs, bro. You're going away in cuffs, and you're going to have to prove there's no innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty until proven innocent. And this is why we have to, as guys, be very, very cautious of what goes on, of what we see in women. Is this a low value chick? Is she only after a certain thing? Can I trust her? You can't trust any woman, but can is she destructive? Because just like Eve, who destroyed paradise, a woman will destroy you if she can. All she has to do is give you a little tale the night before, and if you tell her, "Hey, listen, you're not for me," or this is a one night thing, and let's go our separate ways. If she feels some sort of way about it, she will destroy you, or at least try to. The other thing I wanted to ask is, why is this always white women? It seems like it's always white women who are bringing up these allegations. I know with Deshaun Watson, I think they were. I think this was in an Asian place, one of those rub and tug places, but there were probably lots of white women in there too. But why is there? Why is it always white women who start these allegations? I've always said that white women are the cancer of Western civilization. They will sleep with anybody as long as it furthers their agenda, and their agenda is themselves and to make money. Not all women, not all, but enough. And this woman here is a perfect example. She's a pretty white girl. She could probably have any regular Joe that she wants, an electrician, a plumber, a freaking UPS driver. But no, she has to, at the age of 18 or 19, this is when Shannon Sharp met her. So I'm assuming she had her website, she had her OF site at around that age. Let's say 20. At 20 years old, she has to wiggle her ass in front of a camera, blast it on this website, ask men to pay for that, and of course these morons do. And she goes to a gym one day and she strikes it rich in terms of Shannon Sharp. And it's always these white women. It's amazing to me. I'm sure that there are black and or Hispanic women, especially Hispanic women are really really hot too. I'm sure that there are Asian women that do that will try to do the same thing, but it just seems to me, maybe it's my perception of it. It's just always a white woman, and it always seems to go the same way, right? White woman, beautiful white woman, black athlete or black celebrity, and maybe something happens, they break it off, she catches him with another broad, and she wants to accuse this dude of misconduct in some way, or disobedience, or abuse, or rape, or in this case, rape. Now, I don't know how you can accuse somebody of rape and put a price tag on it. That's this chick's mo here. That's why I'm thinking that this is all just a money grab, and not a hey, this guy needs to pay for what he did to me, because it just seems it just looks way too much like a I got burned, now I'm going to destroy you for leaving me, or abusing me, or not abusing, but um, dumping me for somebody else, because he might be with somebody else. Maybe he told her it was over. But we shall see in the days to come, or the weeks or the months to come. We'll probably get back to this. But why did I bring up this topic today? Well, you bring up this topic today because of the low valued woman. And the low value woman, and this will be part one, is going to destroy your life. Maybe not by accusing you of rape, but she can ruin your life by running around and banging different guys behind your back, uh, bringing another baby into your world, bringing a, a bastard child into your world. She could ruin your peace, and that's the one thing you want to avoid. And as many celebrities and athletes and elites have shown, all the money, all the power, all the influence in the world cannot protect you or anyone from the hell within a low value woman. Women are responsible for destroying paradise. A woman was responsible for destroying paradise for Adam. They will ultimately ruin your paradise, your peace, and your evolution into the complete man. The low value woman thrives on chaos. She cannot breathe unless there is tension in the air. That's her lifeblood. And if things are calm, she'll stir up a hurricane to feel alive. Because for her, peace doesn't feel safe, it feels empty. She'll start arguments over nothing. She'll twist your words. She'll accuse you of things you never did. She'll make you pay for the sins of the past. And she'll pull away without reason, not because she's hurt by anything you did, but just to watch you chase and toil. It's all a game to them. And while you grow with frustration over what you think you did wrong, and you did nothing wrong, and while you try to fix this and pull your hair out trying to make her happy, she'll revel in every single minute of your torture. We've heard the lines before. A little drama keeps things exciting, or if there's no stimulation, it's boring. That's not adoration for you. That's dysfunction. No high value man tolerates this. A high value man expects a woman to value calm over chaos, clarity over confusion, and connection over control. That's what the evolved man wants and demands. You must demand it. The low value woman is addicted to drama, and she flourishes in the emotional fog that blinds you. She wants you confused. She wants you lost. And she wants you, she always wants you to question yourself. You'll find yourself walking on eggshells around her, filtering every word, doubting every move just to keep her from crashing out. And my man, that is not love. That's not That's not a connection. That's survival. At that point, you're just trying to survive. And that's not the way to live a life. There's no peace in that. You're the antelope. She's the tiger. And that's not how nature works. That's not how God intended it. We are the hunter gatherers. We're the tiger, we're the lion. She is the antelope. But here's the part that no woman ever sees coming. We don't play their game. We, as evolved men, can step away from this madness at any time. And when we do, she'll either panic or she'll chase or she'll vanish and she'll place blame on your manhood. That's what women do. Oh, he wasn't man enough for me. Or she'll talk about the size of your member, or that you couldn't get it up, or that you were a 10-second guy in bed. That's the MO for women. They always try that. She'll most likely replace you with a bottom feeder that she can control. Oftentimes, it'll be a boy from her past, like a high school sweetheart or a below average family friend who's just happy to be with a girl he sees as out of his league. How many times have you been with a woman that you thought was the one, and then she just breaks up with you for no reason because you were too sophisticated for her? And what does she do? She goes out with another guy who is just not up to par. Up to your par. She has to find a guy that is below her tier. Right? If she's a 6, she has to go find a 4, because that 4 will worship her. See, if you're a 6 or a 7, and I hate using numbers, but right now it's the only thing that's popping in my head. If you're a 6 or a 7 and she's around that level 2, you're competition. You're competition because you can replace her with another woman. You're always on the prowl. You're always spinning plates. The 4 guy can't replace the 6 girl as easy or at all. So he's going to worship her, and she can control him, and she will control him. Trust me, I've seen this a lot. We think that sometimes it's us. We're not jacked enough. We're not smart enough. We weren't good enough. And then you see her with this guy who is an absolute bum. And you're like, what the fuck? What is she thinking? Well, she has a plan. Her plan is to bottom feed, get that low tier guy, make her who's going to tell her how beautiful she is and how right she is and how smart she is and yada, yada, yada. Build up her confidence, and she'll dump him within 6 months too, because she doesn't want that. She wants the 6 or 7. She wants the guy on her level, or the guy higher on her level that she can never get. That's what they all want. They want to chase the 9 or the 10, and they can't get that. Most chicks are mid. Let's be honest. I mean, they're pretty here. Maybe they got nice boobs, maybe they got a nice body, but when you look at what celebrity dudes are getting, or what high power corporate guys are getting, they're getting a lot better than the chicks that are within our range. But either way, whatever her decision is, whether it's to go out with a lower tier guy or to blame you for everything, either way, you win. Because once she's gone, you have your peace. And your peace isn't something you should have to fight for. It's something you choose. Because you're worth it, bro. You're the prize. Never, ever forget that. And that's the memo. All right. So there we are. Well, this is the first broadcast in a while, in about a week. I was itching to get back at it, but I finally got my little studio up, and I'm finally back, and hopefully this channel will continue to grow. It's gone off to a slow start, but I'm not in this for anything other than I have something to say, and I hope there's enough people that are out there who agree and who disagree. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. All right, so how do we leave you? Thank you again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Be careful out there, gentlemen. As you see here, Satan is always busy. And he's got demons out there with boobs and ass that are willing to try and destroy you. Be a man. Have a backbone. Because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. We'll see you later.